let's just do overview a different dataset that we will be potentially looking at. Yeah, let's do this one here.
Okay, so ever had that weird moment, right? Where your palms just feel a little sweaty.
Yeah. Even when you're not particularly hot or exercised.
Exactly. Like you're maybe about to give a presentation or I don't know, you're just brainstorming something cool and bam, clammy hands.
Right.
Well, it turns out those little beads of sweat, they're not just about cooling you down.
No, not at all.
Our skin, and this is kind of wild, it holds some really surprising secrets about, well, our state of mind.
It really does. It's like this silent billboard constantly updating.
Yeah, whispering little clues about what's going on inside us. It's fascinating. So today, we're diving headfirst, really digging into this realm where these tiny electrical signals from our skin can actually show us the inner workings of our nervous system.
It's pretty amazing stuff.
Our mission for this deep dive, then, is to unpack what our sweat glands can tell us about our physiological state, especially comparing when we're awake and just, chilling out versus when we're under sedation.
Yeah, two very different states.
It might sound a bit niche at first, maybe a little sci-fi.
A little bit, maybe.
But trust me, the data we're exploring is not only incredibly cool, but actually really relevant to understanding ourselves.
Yeah.
And maybe even the future of health tracking.
Absolutely. And the source material we're using today, it's solid. It comes from a really comprehensive data set published on PhysioNet.
Ah, PhysioNet. Good stuff.
Yeah, for anyone who doesn't know, it's a highly respected open access resource, makes great scientific data available for, well, everyone.
Right.
And this specific data set looks at electrodermal activity, EDA for short, collected really carefully from healthy volunteers.
Okay.
It's foundational work, a real treasure trove that lets researchers all over the world explore and build on what they found.
Okay, EDA. Let's unpack that a bit more. What is electrodermal activity exactly, in simple terms?
Right. So basically, it's a super sensitive way to measure how the electrical conductance of your skin changes over time.
Electrical conductance.
Yeah.
So how easily electricity flows across it.
Precisely. Think of your skin less like just a barrier and more like a dynamic electric circuit board.
Huh.
When your eccrine sweat glands, those are the tiny clear ones all over, but especially dense on your palms and soles when they get active, even a tiny bit, they release moisture. And that moisture, even if it's totally imperceptible to you, changes the skin's electrical properties, how easily that current flows.
So it's not about visible sweat dripping off you.
Not at all. It's way more subtle. It's a rapid, super sensitive readout of even the tiniest bit of sweat gland activity.
Wow. It's kind of wild how something so microscopic can tell us so much, isn't it?
It is. And what's truly fascinating here is the why. Why is this measurement so significant?
Okay, yeah, tell us why.
Well, the activity of these specific sweat glands, the eccrine ones ED, tracks so well. It's almost exclusively controlled by one part of your nervous system.
Which part?
The sympathetic branch of the autonomic nervous system. That's your body's ancient fight-or-flight response mechanism.
The fight or flight, even when you're just sitting there?
Exactly. Even when you're completely still, maybe reading a book or just zoning out, that system is subtly, constantly working.
Huh.
It's responding to internal thoughts, maybe a fleeting emotion, even tiny physiological shifts you'd never notice.
And EDA picks that up.
It's sensitive enough to capture those tiny dynamic shifts.
Yeah.
It's like having this direct, real-time window
Yeah.
into how your body is reacting and adapting internally and externally.
Without you even consciously knowing it's happening?
Precisely. It's like this quiet internal conversation your body is having, and EDA lets us kind of listen in.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting for me. Because the researchers, they didn't just look at people, doing their normal thing.
No, they were clever about it.
They structured the study to look at EDA in two really distinct states, a direct comparison.
Right.
So first, they had healthy volunteers who were simply awake and at rest, just sitting there.
Okay, the baseline group, essentially.
Yeah. There were 11 people in this group, aged 22 to 34. Actually, they started with 12.
Well, what happened?
Well, they smartly excluded one person because they had something called Raynaud's phenomenon.
Yeah, that affects circulation in the fingers, right? Could mess with the readings.
Exactly. So, good call to ensure the data was clean. These 11 people just sat awake for about an hour, letting their bodies settle.
Got it. Awake and resting.
And then, for the second group, they got a different set of 11 healthy volunteers.
Okay.
But these folks were under controlled sedation.
Okay, now we're talking contrast.
Right. They use propofol, which is a common anesthetic. So you've got one group chilling out, totally conscious, and the other in this completely altered state, deeply sedated.
Wow, what a great way to see how ED changes based purely on consciousness level and, well, nervous system state.
It really is. It's like comparing two totally different worlds inside the body.
So how did they actually measure this? The nuts and bolts of it must have been pretty precise.
Oh, yeah. Super precise and really well thought out. For that awake and at rest group, they put electrodes on the non-dominant hand, specifically index finger and ring finger near the tips.
Makes sense. Lots of sweat glands there.
Exactly. And they used an FDA-approved neurofeedback system.
Sounds fancy. High-tech stuff.
Yeah, sounds it. But basically, it's just a very accurate tool for measuring these subtle electrical changes.
And how long did they measure for?
About an hour. And get this, they collected data at 256 hertz.
256 readings per second.
Yep. Crazy, right?
Wow. That's a ton of data.
It is. And the subjects, they could read, meditate, watch something on a laptop. But crucial detail, they couldn't write with the hand that had the sensors on it.
To avoid movement artifacts, presumably?
Probably. And importantly, it was purely observational. They didn't zap them with stimuli or anything.
Right.
And didn't control what they read or watched. Just natural, spontaneous EDA.
Okay, so that's the awake group. What about the sedation group? Must have been different.
Yeah, a bit different, more clinical setting, as you'd expect. Electrodes went on the palm of the left hand.
Palm? Oh. Also dense with glands.
And they used an FDA-approved bedmaster system, something you'd typically see in hospitals.
Right, for patient monitoring. Makes sense.
Data collection here was much longer, about 3 to 4 hours.
Longer period, okay.
And an even higher sample rate, 500 hertz.
Ooh. 500 readings a second.
Plus, during that time, the propofol concentration was actually changed. Varied over time.
So they could see the effects at different depths of sedation. Very clever.
And it's really crucial to mention the ethics here.
Absolutely. Always important.
Both parts had full IRB approval, that's the ethics board, from big names like MIT and Mass General Hospital.
Top institutions. Good.
And of course, everyone gave written informed consent, everything done responsibly and ethically.
Excellent. That's foundational for this kind of human research.
So, okay, all this incredibly careful data collection, what did they actually find? They didn't just end up with like messy, squiggly lines, right?
No, definitely not. They took that raw EDA data, all those hundreds of readings per second, and they processed it. They extracted two key things, the real nuggets of knowledge here.
What were they?
Pulse times and pulse amplitudes.
Pulse times and amplitudes. Sounds like finding the peaks in the signal.
Kind of like that, yeah. Think of it like finding the distinct moments of activity, the pulses, and how strong each pulse was. These specific little electrical wiggles, that's the goal. That's the key to understanding the nervous system activity.
Right. So the big question then, what did these pulses, these little wiggles, actually show? What was the difference between the awake folks and the sedated folks?
Exactly. And this is where it gets really cool, because the data just spoke volumes. By looking at those pulse times and amplitudes, they saw some really clear, profound differences between the two groups. It was quite striking.
Okay, tell me more.
So in the awake resting group, they saw this consistent, dynamic baseline level of spontaneous EDA fluctuations, little ups and downs.
Even though they were just sitting there resting.
Yep. These weren't necessarily tied to anything obvious happening outside. They were subtle, continuous shifts. It showed that constant low-level buzz of the sympathetic nervous system.
Always kind of active in the background.
Exactly. The pulses were, relatively frequent, but their amplitude, how strong they were, that varied quite a bit. It's like the nervous system was just gently processing internal stuff, thoughts, feelings, who knows.
Okay, so a kind of gentle buzzing baseline for awake people. What about the sedated group?
Well, that's where the contrast was huge. In the sedated group, those spontaneous ED fluctuations were significantly suppressed. Often the line was much, much flatter.
Really? Quieted right down.
Massively. The pulse times became way less frequent, fewer bursts of activity. And the pulse amplitudes, the strength of those bursts, were dramatically reduced, sometimes almost gone, especially when the propofol level was higher. It showed this really clear quieting of that spontaneous sympathetic nervous system activity, like switching it way down.
So it's a direct reflection of consciousness level impacting those automatic responses.
That's exactly what it suggests. This clear difference between the states, it's just It's a crucial insight. Being awake means your nervous system is always subtly reacting, processing, even subconsciously.
Right.
While sedation really dampens that automatic reactivity way down, it really highlights EDA as a potentially powerful biomarker for your physiological state.
That is a profound difference. Okay, so suddenly this seemingly technical data feels incredibly relevant, like relevant to me,
Absolutely.
Because findings like these, they fuel that growing interest in using EDA to track physiological conditions like stress, sleep quality, emotions.
Exactly. Imagine a future, and maybe it's not that far off, where a simple sensor, maybe on your watch or a ring, could give you real data on how rested you actually are, or if your stress is creeping up, just by reading these silent whispers from your sweat glands.
That's amazing. Not just guessing based on how you feel, but getting actual biofeedback.
Precisely. It moves beyond subjective feelings into objective data. It's not just abstract lab science anymore. It's about unlocking really personal insights.
Yeah, it feels less sci-fi now and more like applied science that could genuinely help people.
And that links back to why sharing this data on PhysioNet is so important.
Right, making it public.
Yeah, the whole point is to empower other researchers. Let them explore this phasic EDA data, understand the rich information it contains.
So everyone can build on it.
Exactly. It accelerates discovery. People can test new ideas, develop new ways to analyze it. It helps build better computational models for autonomic nervous system activity.
And has it already been used like that? Has it led to new things?
Oh, definitely. This data set has been instrumental in developing a new physiology-driven framework for ED analysis, something called a point process framework.
Okay, sounds technical, but the point is the data is useful.
Hugely useful. It shows how these foundational data sets are just critical building blocks for making big scientific leaps in understanding the body.
It's amazing how one careful study can ripple outwards like that.
It really is. Of course, like any study, you have to consider its context.
Sure. Limitations.
Well, for the at-rest awake group, remember it was purely observational.
Right, no specific triggers applied by the research.
Exactly. They were just watching what naturally happened, which is valuable in itself, but it's different from a study where you apply specific controlled stimuli. It just provides context for interpretation.
Got it. Doesn't diminish the findings, just frames them correctly. Okay, so, wow, we've taken quite the journey here into these tiny, almost invisible electrical changes on our skin.
We really have, from just chilling out awake to being completely sedated.
And what we found is that these subtle shifts, these electrical whispers, they give us genuinely crucial insights into our fight or flight system, our overall physiological state.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable.
It just really drives home how even simple measurements, if you do them carefully and analyze them smartly, can unlock this complex, utterly fascinating picture of the human body.
It's constantly talking, isn't it?
Our bodies are always communicating. We just need to learn how to listen.
Right. And, this whole thing, it raises a really interesting, kind of provocative question for me.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
Well, if our skin can silently broadcast so much about our internal state, our alertness, our stress responses, even our level of consciousness, what other hidden signals might our bodies be sending out all the time? Signals that we're only just beginning to figure out how to decipher.
That's a big question. Like, what else are we missing?
Exactly. Think about how insights from seemingly simple data, like this sweat data today, could genuinely revolutionize how we track stress or sleep or emotional balance in the future.
Giving us that clearer, more objective picture you mentioned.
Yeah, without us even needing to say a word about how we feel. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What else are our bodies secretly telling us, just waiting for us to tune in?
Everything we do is available freely on bionichaos.com. Please consider supporting me on Patreon, and don't forget to gently click like, subscribe, and comment.